Well, hi there everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, this is another video where we are going to preserve basil. So this is the basil left from the season, the garden season. It is fall now. Today it's quite chilly and I need to harvest the rest of the basil because they are falling off, turning a bit yellow because of the cold. So let's harvest and plant. So as you can see, I have basil there. I also have turnip greens, and below there at the lower bed there we have oregano. But for today we are going to just be harvesting basil, and I'll show you how I preserve my basil. Stay tuned. This part is the best, very fragrant. It contains the seeds. When you dry it, see over here, when I dry it, I can, if I want to plant them again, I can use this part, the seeds, when they dry up. But I don't need to do that because I already have the plant in the garden. It's going to regrow early next spring. However, this part, if you use it to season your chicken, your just basically your protein, your sauce, is very, very fragrant, even more fragrant than the leaves. Yep, so that's just a quick tip. So we are done cutting. You can see here's the greens or the spinach. There it is over there. But for the basil, I've cut up most of it, and here it is on a pan. We have the dry seeds. This part can be stored and used to replant. There are tiny seeds in there, very tiny seeds, but very, very good to season your protein or season chicken, make stews if you love basil. So all this, I'm going to shake it out, make sure there are no, bugs or anything, and then put it in the oven. The sun comes out, the oven is pretty dry. I'm not turning it on, just in a normal, off. The oven is off, so, but dry. You don't want to put it in a moist oven or a dirty oven, or it's going to attract, mold. So the oven is pretty dry. I typically dry it. I'll just put it on a baking tray as it is now, put it in the oven, and once the sun comes out and it's pretty hot, I'll bring it outside to dry. In the evening, once the sun goes down, I put it back in the oven, and I'll do that for 3 days and it'll be dry. All right, so this is the oven. I have a rack on top of just a pan just to support the leaves. So I'm going to place the leaves on there and just leave the oven. The oven is clean and dry. I don't plan on using the oven in the next couple of days, so it's fine for the leaves to stay here until I get some sunlight and I can take it outside. Right, so that's it. I had some left in the pan, so I left it at the bottom there, and then the top here. So I'll leave it in here, it's fine. The oven is pretty dry, like I said, and I'll wait till sun comes out and I'll take it outside to dry. But I'm going to show you one that I've already pre-dried. I processed last week, so it's dry now and ready to pluck. I'll show you shortly. This will take couple of days before it's pretty dry, like a 3 days, 3 to 4 days at the most. All right, okay, so this is the one I prepared last week. It's very, very dry. So I put it in the sun when there was sunlight, put it back in the oven when it was just pretty much raining and gloomy outside. So the oven will also dry. It's just that if you leave it in the oven throughout, it takes longer to dry. So I kind of take it out in the sun, put it back in the oven at night until it is completely dry. Then when it's completely dry, I leave it in the oven and I turn on the oven at low heat. Just, I need a blast of heat, so you don't want to leave it too long so it doesn't get out the well, I want to say nutrients and flavor or fragrance from the basil. Right now it's still pungent, it still smells very strong as if it was fresh. So that short amount of heat to really heat up the leaves, just for a few, in fact 3 minutes is okay. The oven should already be hot. Then you put it in and then just leave it in for just a quick few minutes to bring it out. That is to kill any bacteria or fungus, because remember, we're going to, blend it and put it in a container. So you want it to last in that container without going bad. So that's the purpose of just giving it that quick heat so it kills anything, and then take it out. So this is after it has been heated. You see it's still a bit green. You see that? Still a bit green. That's a nice picture, but it's still a bit green. So it smells like literally the whole dining room is smelling like basil. So it's still very strong. So the next step now is to pluck out the leaves. This part as well. This part is very good for seasoning. The only part that I wouldn't need is the stem. So I don't need the stem. See this part? That's the part I don't need. So I need to separate it from the stem. Also use this, take this. So I'm just going to slide it down, and you see how it's coming out? Okay, so that's the part that I need. I'll just pull it down this way, slide all of this out, and also add it to the leaves when blending. So I'm going to pluck it and show you what it looks like after plucking. Remember, this is even about less than half the amount we just plucked from the garden today. This is the one I plucked last weekend and I dried, so it was just a small amount. So the one we have currently in the oven is more than twice the amount of this. So it's better to process it and store than to waste it. There are other ways of storing your fresh garden herbs, and I've showed you one way in a video I think I'm going to link towards the end of this video. It's the frozen method. You can blend and freeze and just put it in cubes in a nice cube tray. Whenever you need, you just take them in cubes and throw it into your sauce or your chicken, your seasoning. If you're seasoning chicken, turkey, meats, you can just put 1 cube at a time, depending on how concentrated you make the cube. All right. Okay, so we're all done. There's a mess here, but I'm going to clean it. This is what it looks like. You hear that? It's pretty dry. Now, if you don't want to, that last heating process that we talked about, you can do that after you plucked. You've plucked it this way. You can just put it on spread it out on a baking tray and then heat it that way, if you prefer. Or you can, once the leaves are dried, like I told you, and it's still on the stem, you can heat it up in the oven that way. Just a quick heat, blast of heat. You don't want to burn it. Just a little heat so it still retains its potency, so to speak. So See, we plucked it. Now it's ready to blend and store.